Hello everyone, welcome. I'm very itchy right now. Today's very special itchy stream. Coming to live.
I lie unable, thinking nothing by my side. No tears to whisper on and on. I hear the fallings like a memory when she closed her eyes. I smile.
Except for my popsicle in my sketchbook. I think it's not good.
Take the hand that leads you, babe.
Just 2 shout-outs. Starting early, by the way, so in case you didn't know that you're here right now and that it's early. Let's see, we've got, this is not the latest, starting at okay. Like all of our subs tonight on YouTube, starting with Sarah King. I may be overlapping a little bit, I wasn't sure which ones I hit last time. Sarah King, Givaldo Alves, Charles Eulette, Gwendolyn Spradling, Randall Pong, Joel Webner, Carlos Shimabaku, Awa New, Damian Cooper, Veronica Montano, Dave Corbin, Ironsight Customs, spelled with a K, so you know it's super custom. Antonio Joaquin, let's see, is that going to be a hard G or a soft G? Galvez Sanchez, Andre Kautu, Garita Hoods, HDZ, Hoods, I'm guessing Billy Fish, Zoltan Adorjan, let's see, Krillic, someone? Is it Krillic or is it Cyrillic? Or is it Skrillex? I don't know, one of those. You know, people in Eastern Europe, those fine folk. Melissa Henson, Alex, Gaia Lamas, oh boy, okay, this one's tricky because it's incorporating numbers. Let's see, Aviate, let's see, Aviate for all. Oh, like aviator, I'm guessing, Aviate for all. And Maya Watts. Thanks everyone, thanks for joining me on this mystical adventure of me trying to be an artist. What does it mean to be an artist anyway, do you suppose? I don't know what it means. It seems to have changed over the years. If you know the real definition of artist, comment below, I'd like to know. I was having lunch with my pastor today, and you know, I've been telling him about my various projects for quite some time, and he used to work in Hollywood on scripts and such. I think he had a production company at some point. Anyway, he was trying to grok what I was doing. You know, I was explaining, you know, my genre is kind of fantasy sci-fi. My goal is to create stories that inspire people to learn kind of the real meaning of love and heroism, as opposed to what is usually depicted in our popular media as love and heroism, which for love it's usually like, oh, I feel strong feelings for this person and I'll do anything for them. which is a valid form of love. But it doesn't really challenge anyone to rise above so much. And heroism usually boils down to kicking someone's butt who's being a bad person. Not that those elements don't exist in my stories, but I'd like to find ways to do something above and beyond what is the standard fare. Anyway, I was explaining all this to him, and he's not familiar with genre fiction, such as fantasy, sci-fi, horror. So he's hearing me talking about novels, and in his mind, he's thinking, I don't know, Moby Dick and The Great Gatsby and that kind of stuff, right? And so he's asking all these. He's super smart. I love talking to him because he's got a degree in philosophy and theology, and he just knows a lot about a lot. And so he's excited by the idea of trying to imbue themes into my work, but he's thinking of it as literature, not so much genre fiction. And genre fiction can dip into literature, for sure. Can be more or less literary. I don't really care where I fall on that spectrum. I hope that there are stories that take place in my IP, my intellectual property, in Tales from Talifar. I would love the idea that there would be some really literary stories and some just really... What's a word for the opposite of literary? Like pulp? I don't know. That's just like straight ahead, genre conventions, just a fun ride, giving you what you expect. But always with this twist of like, what's a good, inspiring demonstration of my meme of fierce love? And can I find a way to do that? Hi, Aletha. Hi, Van Morta. You're at your mom's? Music's too loud. Okay, thanks for letting me know. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Let me know if that's more better. Were you able to hear anything I was saying? Or was it just like... Say hi back to your mom and Melissa. And also bow before them. Like, get on your knees and bow all the way down, groveling before them. That's what I would do. I'm just reestablishing some of my darker lines on this this Sentry Kite device, which apparently actually existed all the way back into ancient Chinese times. There is non-fictional accounts of people using kites that would lift them up into the air in order to give reconnaissance, you know, for military purposes. And in one of our books, we've got the same thing. People are looking for a protagonist bow mark, and they're up on these big kites. I did a little bit of research to try to find out something that was actually plausible. In the kind of early 1900s, some guy built another, you know, like did his recreation, and it mostly works. It's tricky. There's a lot of conditions that have to be right for it to work. Anyway, one of the things about my story that I'm trying to do is make it all scientifically plausible, which adds a whole nother thing. Oh man, I shared this meme with Heather. Let's see. Do you guys get it? I'll give you guys a second. Let me know if you get it. Do you guys hear the music at all now? Also. planet that does not get it. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell, rock. Dun, 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 dun. You got it, Van Moria. Very clever. Very clever. So I figure that one of the advantages that people on Telefar have that ancient Chinese and early 1900s people have is they have access to really exotic materials, not technological materials, but there's so many different alien races on that planet that there's got to be some critter that has skin that's like super light and super strong that, you know, they could use this kind of leather, stretch it super fine, and it could be very, very lightweight and strong enough to use for this kind of purpose. I don't know what that is yet, but someday someone will write a story about the kite builders of the Megalothi Empire, and they will explain it. I'm guessing it would be the leather from... There's a whole... all the creatures that come from this one planet where they float around, they're like gas bag things. They're mostly filled with hydrogen. But the hydrogen is like in cells, and I don't mean the type of cells that is a cell in your body, although it is in their body. What I mean is small little cavities or voids. So it's like bubble wrap. Like their bodies are filled with bubble wrap that, you know, not filled. They also have organs and blood and all that kind of good stuff. But enough of their tissue is filled with those kind of pockets of hydrogen that they can float around like big sky whales and stuff like that. I think there's a way to make that work with Earth-like gravity, but I have yet to have a biologist and chemist and all the other people that we would need to get together to brainstorm and come up with the exact details of how that would work, assuming it could work. Work. I really wish these white pins worked better. Oh, drink down, drink down. My beautiful carpet. Look at this. My beautiful carpet is ruined. Like, how am I going to sell this now? I'm just kidding. I'm not worried about my carpet. I'll just use this garbage that was on the other part of the carpet to cover up the spilled pop. So colored pencil also doesn't quite work because it ends up smearing around a lot of the graphite that's on the page underneath it. This pen covers graphite really well when it goes down, but I can't get it to go down like really evenly. It just kind of clogs, and so I go over here and I do this for a bit and then go back, and it kind of works a little better. I think it depends on how much graphite it's going over. Oh yeah, Kurt did like he likes the general idea. I mean, I didn't go too much in depth because I mean that would bore someone who's not, you know, super into fantasy or whatever. But I told him enough. He's mostly just excited that I'm excited and likes the idea that I'm trying to change the world for the better in that way. Or it says, I bought the Vegas Pro Humble thing. I'm so lost in this program. How much is Vegas Pro in the Humble bundle now? I don't know that I would ever want to switch to it. I'm conversant enough in Premiere Pro, I would hate to have to try to learn another one. I'm going to start putting down a little bit of water. So can we get closer here? Wetting the area first. Grabbing a little bit of paint, smearing it in that wet spot. That usually helps me blend it easier. $25, nice. But it goes for 300. But I need to do some video editing, and the Windows Movie thing is, my God, it's not working. Yeah. All right, bye, Aletha. Thanks for stopping by. Jorno good for now. It's tricky trying to come up with all the rigging for this kite thing. The one that I saw from the 1900s probably had 100 ropes going in every possible angle you can imagine. It seemed like every little tip was tied to every other tip, every strut, every little thing. I assume because these would be really prone to twisting, because you've got a heavy weight of a person down there, right? So that's just putting a lot of tension on all of these things. You know, when I make the epic Game of Thrones like TV show of this story, we're gonna have a physics simulator run to figure out how to get this to work. That is where the show's budget is going to go. I mean, to some extent, that's going to be true. I plan on being ridiculously pedantic when it comes to figuring out how to make this stuff scientifically plausible. So much so that you might be able to argue that it's going to be an educational program, even though it's going to be an action-adventure fantasy. All right. Here we have Bowmark and Sun and Moongleam in the newly, freshly added romantic scene got me really excited. Even though I don't usually care about romance in books or movies. Man, it just really made a lot of things come to life in this story. So I was very inspired. I had to illustrate this scene. They have a little bit of a Romeo and Juliet thing going on where, like, their culture forbids them to be in any kind of romantic relationship. Well, not any kind. Their culture would be fine if she was just a paramour to him, but not marriage material because she's a commoner and he's a royal. A tale as old as time. We added pretty much a chapter's worth of new material based on beta reader feedback. And I think all of it really strengthens the everything. It's tricky because you don't want to inflate the before the adventure part of things and just bog it down and slow it down. But if that stuff is actually like interesting and captivating, then I don't think it's a problem. And I think we fulfilled those. I mean, not for everyone. Some people are only happy if there's like running, jumping, climbing, and explosions, but there is plenty of that later. There is in fact too much of that later, which I've had to pare down. Because while a lot of people like it, if it's not happening to people you care about for reasons that you care about, it's just boring. Some damn owner's secret to just like doing an abstract version of foliage. So I'm not sitting there like hand drawing every single stupid leaf and twig like I tend to do. I haven't practiced that stuff enough yet to be that proficient. It's got all these little webbies, and one thing I was thinking of trying was, what if I just take a semi-stiff, cheapable brush and just like scrub. Will that just actually break the bits off? It's not looking like as great as I would love, which is to just make the pieces just go away. But it's not bad. Okay, I'm gonna try something. Tell me if this hurts anyone's ears or blows out your speakers. Ready? How was that for you guys? I ask because I'm looking for ways to produce a much shorter version of my live streams for my YouTube channel, where I can upload just the highlights from a stream. And one way I could do that is every time I think a highlight has occurred, because I'm not generally going to know before it occurs, I could do that little clap thing and then just look for the spikes in the audio, and that would give me kind of bookmarks that would make the editing go pretty fast, I think. But it could also make the viewing of the live stream experience annoying, which I obviously don't want to do. It was fine. And if I've done or said anything that any of you guys think feels like a highlight, let me know in the comments, and I can agree or disagree. And if I agree, I'll do little clappy claps. Yeah, I'd love to be able to upload just like, I don't know, 5 to 10 minute summation of each stream. And then keep the full length ones and just have them on Patreon. Because I don't think anyone on YouTube particularly cares. I doubt there's anyone going back through the backlog. Being like, I want to watch all 5 hours of Josh's live stream from January 17th, 2016, or whenever I was doing it. But if there is anyone that fanatical, or, you know, if I'm running for political office, or if I just get famous in general, there's going to be people who are going to want to work really hard to find anything that I've done or said that can be construed in a bad light to take me down. So I might as well put that behind a paywall, so when I get taken down, at least it will be by someone who is paid for Patreon. But the good news is it's not removing the actual little blobs that I've placed. Another option is I could just go with it and just put webbing all over the whole thing. Pretty much everything I leave it out here in the garage / art studio ends up getting cobwebs all over it anyway. Says, I'd vote for you, Josh, but only if you were actively working on art every time you made a public speech. That'd be awesome. Just drawing in my sketchbook or sculpting. I posted about that semi-recently. Just asking, you know, out loud how people react when they see me or anyone who's in a meeting or at church or whatever who's sketching. Sometimes there was a time where I would actually be like sculpting on my little Zelda figures during meetings. And I was totally active. I was totally participating, totally engaged. It just uses a very different part of my brain, and it actually keeps my brain from wandering. If I don't have something like that to do, you know, I'll hear something in the meeting. We're usually talking like brainstorming meetings and stuff like that. I'll hear something and then I'll just, if I'm not able to say it out loud because someone else is talking or it's just not the time for bringing that up, like my brain will just start designing and it'll just go off on a tangent and I won't hear anything else that's being said for the rest of the meeting. That doesn't happen if I'm sketching or sculpting. But, yeah, there's a lot of people who are actually very offended by that, who really think it's disrespectful for people to be sketching during meetings. I kind of figured, you know, because I work in the game industry, that, you know, people would just be used to those kind of eccentricities and they wouldn't think twice about it, but there's a non-insignificant portion of people who actually think it's I don't know if they think it's a deliberate sign of disrespect, but they at least think it's a sign of disrespect. I think I'm at a point in my career, you know, I'm 22 years in. I've got friends at virtually every game design studio. If I ever got fired for something like that, You know, like, alright, get a job at a different studio. Not that I would ever fear for my job for it or whatever, but I guess I'm pragmatic about it. Like, it's more important that I'm participating actively in the meetings and that every single person understands that I'm respecting them by not sketching. Yeah, I'm gonna sketch because it means I'm listening better that way. My job when I'm in a meeting is to be paying as close attention as possible. And be participating, thinking hard about it, all that kind of stuff. And I needed Sketchbook to facilitate that, so sorry. So yes, if I run for office, I will definitely give all of my speeches while sketching. Yesterday I figured out a super fast way to make these little floor tiles that I was working on for them. Let's just call it a stage, the Colossus stage. I spent pretty much all day Saturday working on those. And I got 2% done, maybe. And that got me really worried. I was like, I need these done much faster than that, or this is not a viable thing. And, but I kind of figured out a way to make a jig that has these two little things, so I could just go burn, 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 just down super fast, because I was doing this thing where I was cutting every line by hand, either super slow with the little melty thing, or I would go down with an X-Acto knife and then go down with a pin. So it took like 4 or 5 back and forth strokes on every line, and there's, I don't know, hundreds of lines per sheet, and I have like 60 sheets, so that was not looking promising, but now I'm going much faster, so I are relieved. Okay, so this time, last time I just kind of washed over the whole bubbles and they ended up getting darker than I wanted, so I'm gonna try just kind of dabbing around them. See if that gets me closer to what I want. Did you guys know that there is an Avatar theme park at Disney World that just opened up? Not Avatar: The Last Airbender. Avatar, the James Cameron movie. It kind of blew my mind. I think I heard a while ago they're working on it, but man, that just, like, a weird thing. What a weird thing to gamble on, that this movie that was a huge hit, what, 10 years ago? And now they've got like 6 sequels or more planned, and they're working, like they've been filming, I don't know how many, a lot of them since then. But yeah, they opened up a whole park. It's gorgeous. It looks super cool. I saw a review by what's her name? Jenny Nicholson, maybe, on YouTube. She's a funny, sassy young lady. yeah, it's so weird, so weird. Great world building. I love the amount of thought that went into the world building. It's just such a shame that the story of the first film was so forgettable. I wonder if I spray this with a crystal clear coat, if that's going to make these kind of pop out as bubbly. But I guess I'm not even convinced necessarily that I want them to be really liquidy, bubbly looking. I'm not sure what I really want them to look like. Mostly I just wanted it to not... I wanted the face that's emerging to not just kind of look like it's plastered on. I wanted it to feel like it was growing out of the wood. And what I had previously was not giving me feelings. It was not giving me them feels I was hoping for. Interesting. Yeah, one thing I haven't been leaning on is pulling some of this stain out onto the wood. It seems like a pretty effective thing to do, though. I really like how it gives that kind of coffee or tea stain. Look to it. It doesn't look like a paint blob that accidentally got put there. See where it's drying out over here. And it's just kind of becoming cloudy instead of cool and dark like it was. Alright, well I'm going to wait till the whole thing is dried before I make any sort of decisions on that front, so we'll leave it there for tonight. Seems like a good place to call it for the day. See you guys again on Sunday. Thanks for joining me for this rather quiet, but not uneventful, not completely uneventful stream. Hopefully we got more chatty chat going on next time. But in the meantime, have a great evening and or day if you're just getting up over there in the Europes. Yeah, so see you guys later. Bye. Bye.